In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how one of our students, Luke, went from literally $0 to a $900 day in 5 weeks. And just so you believe me, here we can see the post that he posted in our school group. Here today was exactly 5 weeks since we started this channel, and they had a $900 day, which is absolutely insane. I'll show you exactly what we did or what he did and how you can do it too. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Stefan, 23 years old, currently making between $30,000 and $40,000 a month with faceless YouTube automation and constantly starting new channels. I've literally made over $42,000 with just 2 videos. I've scaled the channel from $0 to $48,000 a month in only 30 days, which is absolutely insane. And we've helped hundreds of other people do the exact same thing. For example, here Martins, we've helped to go to $31,000 a month. Then here, just as an example, here student first $1,000 a month, here student $4,000 a month, here one, just as an example, $12,000 and many, many more. If you're looking for the same results, check out the first link in the video description, and then we'll book a call and we'll see if I can help you get to that exact same level. Now, with that being said, I would say let's get started with step 1, which is choosing your niche. Now, for choosing your niche, we have specific criteria to actually make sure that the channel actually even has potential to work and to be able to go viral. So the first thing we always look at is there are under 5 smaller channels creating content in this niche that are constantly getting more views than they have subscribers. This means there is high demand and low supply, which is one of the most important things when it comes to YouTube automation. Then there are no channels with over 100,000 subscribers. There are no smaller channels failing. The niche is not older than 6 months. I can create better content than my competitors, and I am actually interested in this niche. Now, this is not a must as long as you build a team that actually has interest in that niche. The niche is monetizable, otherwise you are not going to make any money. Then a huge bonus if we can actually post long videos in that niche. Why? Because then we can place more ads and we'll make more money. All right. So this is kind of the criteria we're always looking at when we are choosing a niche. Now, very important, this does not need to be 1,000% when you're choosing niche or with all of the niches you find. Why? Because it's pretty difficult to find a niche that kind of takes all of these boxes. And, we don't want to do niche research for 6 months and only get started in 6 months from now. We want to do some niche research now and get started with the channel as soon as possible. So don't kind of overcomplicate it. Don't be too perfectionistic. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, very hard time on YouTube. Now, tools I would recommend for niche research is, firstly, Next Level. It's like 13 euros a month. I'll show you in a second how that works. And then VidIQ, like the free plan, is enough. Now, the way we do niche research is we use a dummy account. All right. This is also the exact same way how Luke did niche research. This is one of the most overpowered ways of actually doing niche research. So this is basically an account that we only use for niche research. Now, the YouTube homepage has changed for our advantage for the people who are doing YouTube automation. Now, YouTube got extremely good at predicting what we want to watch. All right. And we can use this to our advantage to train the YouTube algorithm to only show us faceless niches on our YouTube home tab. Now, instead of me explaining all of this, let me actually show you exactly how you can set one up. And once the whole dummy account is set up, you can literally find endless niches with it. Now, this right here is my dummy account. As you can see, like I can literally scroll down and we'll just see faceless, faceless, faceless. Everything is just faceless content on my YouTube homepage, which is exactly what we want to see. Now, if you want to set up a dummy account, all right, I'll just show you guys in an incognito window exactly how to do it. So firstly, you obviously log in here and you create like a YouTube account, which is basically just for niche research, as you can see right there. Then you go to your YouTube search and you look up literally any niche that you're interested in. Can be history, can be cars, can be finance, can be literally anything. And we scroll down here in the search bar, and what we're going to do is we're going to look for faceless channels. All right. So here, history for sleep. Not my specific area. I don't like these sleep channels. Some of you guys know already, many of them get demonetized, so it's not my kind of thing. But I see a lot of history for sleep here that we don't want to actually go into. But here, let's say, for example, 33 biggest lies in history that everyone just believed. So here we can see this is a faceless video. So then we actually click on this video, and we, if you're logged in into an account, you subscribe to this channel, you like this video, and once you've done that, we actually come here to the sidebar and we scroll down and we start clicking on more faceless videos. Let's have a look what we can find. So let's say, for example, here, this one, 60, 65, okay, it's okay. Let's click on this one. So here we have a smaller channel, so 6,000 subscribers, 30,000 views, and let's have a look, 64 videos, already quite a bit of videos, but this is how quickly we can again find smaller channels that are doing very, very well. So let's hear Dumb History, just as an example, 17,000 subscribers, 200,000 views. So this is already a way how we can do niche research. So here, and doing quite well, 61 videos, 1.7 million views, not bad. But once we've done this for a while, we can actually go to our YouTube homepage. And as you see on the YouTube homepage, that we now only see faceless videos on our YouTube homepage. And the more you do this, the better your YouTube homepage is going to get. Now, if we look at mine, just as an example, we can see a bunch of, it's literally all faceless channels. Now, why do you need NextLev and VidIQ? So we need NextLev and VidIQ to see the subscriber count right here, because then we know, for example, here, Foodmark, right, has 4,000 subscribers and 8,000 views. Then we can actually click on this channel. All right, I know this channel already, but let's look for one that I don't know yet. So here, for example, Prime Rundown, 2,000 subscribers, 70,000 views. This one I also know. Let's see a Kitchen Truth. Let's see if I know this one. Yes, I know this one already. So it's obviously going to show you a bunch of channels that you know already. But here, this one, just as an example, Vanished Engineering, 600 subscribers, 4 videos, absolutely crushing it. Like, he had a very, very viral video. And, if we wouldn't have VidIQ and NextLev installed, we would click on literally every single channel, and without even knowing if it has a lot of subscribers or not. Now with VidIQ, you can very quickly see here, like, hey, how many views is this channel getting a week, to kind of very quickly get an understanding of, does it even make sense to go into a niche like this? Will it even make enough money? Okay, I don't know why I'm now not logged into VidIQ. So into NextLev, I'll show it to you in the next video. But here, just as an example, you can, for example, do similar channels where you can also do like deep search and find a bunch of channels in this exact same niche. Now VidIQ, not VidIQ, here NextLev is a game changer for doing niche research. I have a bunch of videos on this channel showing you guys exactly how that works. Don't want to waste too much time logging into it now, but what we also like to do is, so if we here, for example, find a niche, we like to create new niches using the niche transfer method. So instead of blindly copying something everyone is doing, we use the niche transfer method to like literally 1000x our results. And that is exactly what Luke did to hit a $900 day within 5 weeks, which is absolutely insane. All right. Now, this is essentially taking proven concepts and moving them to different markets on YouTube. Now, this can be anything: the title, the thumbnail style, the video style, literally anything. All right. Now, if we look at here, these few examples, so we have here medieval times discovered, then we have before fire, pirate times on TV, and off-grid solutions. If we look at the content that they're posting, right, it's basically all the same, just for different kind of people. And this channel right here was the first channel posting this kind of content, and these ones here just took this exact same concept and moved it to different people. And that's why all of these channels blew up very, very quickly. And this is exactly what we want to do. We don't want to guess on YouTube. We want to take proven concepts and move them to different niches. One of the most powerful things you can do on YouTube. All right. Then step number 2, we need to choose video topics. Now, something we need to know is that there is supply and demand in video topics. So supply and demand is not just important in your niche, but also important in in the video topics you choose. Now, how do you actually go ahead and you find demand? So you look for recent outlier videos on competitor channels, and you look for recent trending formats. right? Do not copy most popular videos from competitor. This is what everyone does and your videos will fail. I can promise you that, okay? Then how do we find supply? We use our YouTube search bar and look for how many people have created the exact same video. Now, if it's been done more than 3 times and you don't have a different angle to that specific topic, you have to go and look for a new topic, because otherwise there is just not otherwise there's too much supply for the demand and you will not be able to get views. All right, so YouTube will always show the videos to the hardcore fans of that niche first, and if they have already seen the video multiple times, they have literally 0.0000 reason for clicking on your video, except if it follows a different angle. All right, which is very, very important. Now, how does a perfect topic look like? A perfect topic is a topic that resonates with your audience. So you have to ask yourself, like, do they even want to watch it? All right. This is a question that not many people, ask themselves. And this is actually something that, many people don't even think about. I had like a call yesterday with someone. He said, for example, yes, I know my thumbnails are bad and I wouldn't even click on it. Now, if you think like that, what makes you think that someone else will not click on your thumbnails? Just as an example, right? So you have to ask yourself, like, hey, would they even want to watch it? Then some topics sound interesting, but are super boring. So make sure your topic is not boring. Then your topic has to be posted on time if it's a trend. So if we're looking, for example, into the celebrity drama kind of stuff, we don't want to post a video about something that happened in January only in June, right? It's not gonna work. Then repeat what does well in the past. This is one of the most powerful ways of actually, like looking or choosing video topics if you double down on what has already worked very well. So we have, for example, a student, Andre, where we literally just doubled down on what worked, and he went from, making almost like $500 a month to $30,000 a month within 4 months. All right, I'll create a video on that in a bit, but that is absolutely insane. So double down on what works. It's one of the most underrated things you can do on YouTube. So if you have a topic that works, do another one on that exact same topic. Then leverage negativity. Humans respond better to negative things. So if you can create videos on negative things, always going to work very, very well. Now, step number 3, actually creating the content. Now, you have 3 options for approaching content creation. So you can either do it yourself, you can do the hybrid method, or you can fully outsource it. Now for Luke, just as an example, we use the hybrid method, and I'll show you guys exactly what everything looks like. So firstly, we have do it yourself. So the advantages of that is basically you have no costs, 100% profit, new skills, or you learn new skills and you have full control over how your videos look. Then we have the disadvantages. This is not very scalable. It is extremely time consuming, and learning takes time. And without you, there's no money, right? Because without you, you can't post any videos. Then we have the hybrid method, which many people that work with me actually start out with, but this is awesome. So the advantages of it is it's extremely low cost. You do what you enjoy. You have more control. And the disadvantages, it's partially scalable, time consuming, some capital required. Without you, there's still no income. Yes, then we have fully outsourced. This is something we usually move to once the channel starts making some money. But the advantages of that is it's not time consuming at all, extremely scalable, still over 80% profit margin, time freedom, experience. You will work with experienced freelancers. So for example, if you work with us, you actually get our freelancers, to help you kind of move through this whole process as fast as possible. Then without you, there's still income, right? Because the freelancers can still create the video. The only disadvantage for this is it requires some capital. So these are the kind of ways, how you can go about content creation. We have here, for example, Isabel, she does everything herself. Then we have other students who do the hybrid method and then fully outsource. Every one of them works. The most important thing is just obviously getting the video on YouTube, right? Now, once we have a video, we actually go into our niche testing framework. I follow this exact process with every single niche I get into to avoid spending money on videos that will never work. Now, this here is going to save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over the long run because you won't waste money on channels that will never work, all right? And this is something we implement for every single student of ours. So, as I've said, if you're interested in working closer with me, check out the first link in the video description, book a completely free call with me, and we'll have a look how I can help you scale up. So the first thing we obviously do is niche research. Then we choose a account to kind of get started with. So either a new account, personal account, aged account, or a pre-monetized account. All of them are good. So new accounts are good, personal is good, age is good, pre-monetized I wouldn't start out with as a complete beginner. Then we go ahead and we actually at this current time, I would choose 15 videos. So not 5 to 10, but 15 videos. YouTube takes a little bit longer to push out videos. Then what we do is, like, we need to choose here 15 video topics. Again, make sure that your topics are actually good. Otherwise, this whole process is not going to work. Okay. Now, what we do then is we go ahead and we write the script with ChatGPT, Claude, anything, Google Gemini, anything. Then for the voiceover, we use 11 Labs. We can also use Gen AI Pro, which is kind of a very cheap version of 11 Labs. So as you can see here, like 1 million credits for $22. This is perfect for testing new niches. Then for the editor, we use a freelancer. Now, usually our freelancers are around about $15 per video, which is pretty cheap. And then thumbnail designer, either a freelancer for like $5 or something, or you do it yourself. Now, I would recommend you guys to actually put in some money to hire a freelancer for a thumbnail designer because you actually want good thumbnails, right? Then for the video length, we always try to do 1.5 times longer than our competitor videos. So if our competitor videos are 10 minutes, we will actually go ahead and create 15 minutes videos, right? Then for the thumbnail and the title, we always, and I mean always, work with proven concepts. Always, all right? We don't, think about thumbnail styles. We always work with proven concepts because with that, we can be more sure that something will work than if we pull something from anywhere, okay, just like out of our thoughts. Then what we do then is we go into the posting phase where we will post videos. So we'll post, skip, post, skip, post, post, skip, post. Now you don't have to follow this exact same sequence, but what we like to do is to be inconsistent these days. We do see that this works way better on YouTube currently if you are a bit inconsistent. Now, very important is that every single video has something different in the packaging, in the video idea, something different. Again, because YouTube takes a little bit longer. So we want to have every single video a little bit different. Now, once we post, we'll see one of two things, all right? So either, the channel will actually go up and blow up, then we will actually continue posting, okay, after 15 videos. If the channel, starts to get views, then we actually post. And I'll create more videos about this in the next few days, but then we actually post and we should be monetized around about here somewhere already, okay? Now, once nothing happens and you don't get any views, we actually kill the channel, but we leave the videos online. Why? Because it can still be that the video maybe here at the back actually starts to, spike, and then we start posting. All right. So don't delete the videos of the channel. Just leave the videos online because otherwise you don't even give it the chance to blow up somewhere else. All right. Now, the reasons why a channel might fail is maybe because of your niche. It might be your video topics. It might be your packaging, your video length, or it might be a bad channel. Now, for a bad channel, you will see that you will literally get 0 impressions. All right. Now, in case of a channel failing, always go back and try to understand exactly why and what happened. Why is this specific channel failing? Very important. Otherwise, you will not learn what you need to improve. Okay. Now, in case of a channel failing, we basically go ahead and we repeat this process until we have something that works. And this is kind of the best way to, scale up channels, exactly like Luke did. And he's obviously not the only one. I'll create more videos like this. Let me know in the video description. With that being said, I hope you guys learned something and I'll see you guys in the next video.